Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah. This is Shophar, and you are now listening to the sound of the shofar blowing. The shofar is the ram's horn blown to inspire the people to do their thing, and the shofar is blown to coronate a queen or a king. Today, the shofar is being blown to call us to join the hunt. This is Faux Show Holistic Health on Blog Talk Radio, and I'm your host, Shophar, from Faux Show Energy Work. And today, again, we're being called to join the hunt, and we're going to be talking about masculinity. Again, masculinity is an energy, and there's specific vibrations that will awaken the different personalities that lay dormant in many of us. Those different personalities are able to be awakened. So again, my guest today is an honor. He's the CEO and founder of thegrandtrine International. He's the author of The Return and the Oracle of Kim Sanu. Also, his brand new book, Awakening the Master Masculine. He's one of the three masters that I learned from in order to do the energy work. So, Master Yao, are you out there?
I'm here.
All right. Yeah, so we're just going to jump right in it. Those of you who need some backstory or some more stuff, first of all, you already should have the book, but if you don't, go out and get that, and then also you can go back and listen to the other show that we did on the Warrior. So, Master Yao, let's go ahead and get in this, man. The hunter is essentially the energy of the hunter is to essentially be a good provider and a good husband, and enjoys providing. It enjoys providing and it's not burdened by that. So tell me, please, how much is the current scarcity model? How much does that kind of pervert the energy of the hunter?
Well, the whole system. Excuse me. The whole system is kind of out of whack, and therefore, whenever you have any type of a natural masculine energy, it's going to try to cope with what's there, and in doing that, oftentimes it gets corrupted. The model that we have in society right now is the scarcity model, and it's set up in a capitalistic way so that what used to be competition is now elevated to something beyond that, where it's aggressive and it's corruptive, so that when you have what used to be just an urge to provide and an urge to be what's the word I'm looking for? To be you want your family to be above other families in a way in that you've provided for them better. But what happens is that you get into this competitive thing. It's almost like keeping up with the Joneses, and you get into this thing where if society won't let you be a man and provide for your family, you have to fall into criminal activity. You have to fall into making excuses. You have to fall into trying to restore your dignity after you can't pay bills and things like that. So that you start out with a natural urge that's the hunter. Mm-hmm. But if the hunter can't do it, legally and with his dignity intact, that's not going to stop him. He's going to do it anyway. And as a consequence of that, we're going to look at him as not such a good person when he's just following his instincts. And this can become quite perverted, can become quite dangerous, as a matter of fact, because that part of the man, that natural part of the man, that DNA trait, is a predator, a killer. And it's not going to stop just because society passed a few laws. So the scarcity model really puts him in a really strange place, and it takes something that's intended to be good, providing for your family, and it can turn it into something where he'll not only hurt his family, he'll hurt other people, he'll steal, he'll sell drugs, he will be very aggressive and bullying, because out of the fear that he won't be able to do the thing that he so much wants to do.
Wow. Okay, and one of the things you and I want to hone in on what you were saying, because that was something when I read the book, it really sunk into me. You think of a hunter and you see him, and but I think we're so removed from having to go out here and kill our food anymore that it doesn't really dawn on you, like, the nature of the hunter is that he's a killer, and it's violence. I mean, you shoot the arrow, and it if it doesn't kill it, then you hurt it, and then you get up on it and you cut its neck from ear to ear. So what you just talked about is how nature how this society being away from nature, it can pervert that energy. I want to go into that because in your book you talked about how the energy of the warrior is like the noble samurai, the Bushido and the code of ethics. But the energy of the hunter could be the brother who has shanked you up in the bathroom without you even knowing it's coming.
Exactly.
So if you want to go into that a little more.
A lot of women don't understand that energy, and a lot of men don't understand that energy. And society wants you to be safe. They want you to be law-abiding. They want you to be. They want you to fit inside a box of what a man is supposed to be. So, in the movies, and in the plays, and in books, you can be that. You can be a true hunter. You can be a hero. You can be a tough guy, and it's rewarded. In real life, they want to send your butt to jail. You have to understand that an alligator is not going to stop. A crocodile is not going to stop because somebody put up a sign along the swamp. He's going to do what he's going to do. If a pig gets too close to the edge of the water, he's going to snap up and break its neck. That's his nature. And we have to understand that men are predators. And there's a part of his nature that's like, I'm getting out here and get mine. And if you make laws to stop me, too bad. That's not going to stop me. And so we got to understand that, and we have to condition him and train him so that he can express his nature properly without getting into trouble.
Yeah, because I can see where that energy, when in excess, can lead your butt to get killed or in jail or selling drugs or pimping women, whatever. But when in moderation and like you say in the book, when you pepper that with the other energy of the house of the men, the other personality traits, then you have somebody who is not going to take no when you don't hire him, or when they don't have enough money, but they're going to still push through and get that business done.
Well, stop and think. In the Native American culture, you got a bow and arrow, and you're going out to shoot a bear or a buffalo. The young hunter who doesn't have the energy properly aligned, if he's not supervised, he is not afraid of the buffalo. It could be 100 of them charging. He's not afraid. I used to feel that way about certain things. I just wasn't afraid of stuff I should have been afraid of. They'll go out after a bear because they just imagine coming back with that bear, and yes, I killed that bear, and they'll go out there, and I had that energy. I remember, with your shotgun going out hunting and thinking, I'm invincible, and I will kill something, because I want to come back, and I want everybody to pat me on the back and whatever. But the older guys would say, look, fool, if 100 cows are charging, stampeding, get your butt out the way. Don't try to shoot one, because you'll run over. And so if you're in that environment, you learn. If you're in an urban center, no father, and no one coaching you, you don't learn that lesson, and you're going to go out and try to kill the bear and not understand the precautions you need to take first. And these young boys on the street, these 20, 30-year-old, even older men out here, never learned that lesson because they never went out hunting. They still got that instinct. and they're gonna hurt something, or they're gonna try to be better than the person that's blocking them, to the point where, two gangs will go after each other and commit a lot of violence, and no real product coming from it, no real benefit coming from it. And so that's what we mean.
And a good friend of mine put me on to Amos Wilson, a good friend of ours, Theo. He put me on to Amos Wilson, and one of the things that Amos Wilson said is that the different talked about skill sets. Like when you have someone with that hunter energy, but at least they have a skill set of, being able to know how to work with computers or something like that, well, they might go in and steal some money out your account, or get your credit card number or steal your identity. But when you have a person who society has marginalized and the person doesn't even have a skill set, they may bang you over the head when you're at the ATM.
Or hijack your car. Exactly.
Right.
And you got to understand that when boys are teenagers, they have to be taught the lesson then. If they carry that untampered, unrefined energy into manhood, they will hurt people. Put a police uniform on them, they definitely will hurt somebody. Put them in the army in a war zone, and they're liable to shoot innocent civilians because you haven't given him the proper outlet. You haven't trained him to manage that energy. You're thinking that because people behaved while they're in public, that they're going to behave when they have, when they're in that moment at that crossroads. No, he's not going to behave. And so you've got to, first of all, give him a way to express that hunter instinct, and he's got to be, the women around him, his mom, his girlfriend, his wife, his daughters, have to see him as a provider. If they don't see him that way, he's not like the warrior who's just going to feel ashamed. He's going to do something to change it. He's going to do something, and it's not going to be good.
Very key. There's a very.
Is the other thing too. The woman clings to the hunter because he allows her to do all of her woman stuff without necessarily worrying about where the next food is going to come from. She might be contributing too, but that hunter's there. She knows that if things get really bad and, we have a really harsh winter or we're both laid off or whatever, she knows he's going to be out there trying to get her what she needs. If you don't understand that, in the absence of that, his mentality is because he can't have the relationship where the woman admires him and clings to him. His reaction is going to be abuse. He's going to be like, you don't value me. You don't see me as somebody that's high on your list, that's got honor, that's got dignity, and so I'm going to take your dignity away. I'm going to beat your butt. I'm going to abuse somebody. I'm going to rape somebody because he's angry as heck that he can't express his natural manly instinct.
Wow. You hit on another great point that you hit on in the book. It just shows how much the man needs to evolve, how much we need to evolve as men. To another point on that, about the whole evolution thing, false BS, as I like to call it, false BS or false belief systems, where we've been pumped ideas, especially as it pertains to the hunter energy in the man. False belief systems of lust over love and player over husband and baby daddy over father. Can you speak to that a little bit about those false belief systems and how they perverted things?
I say crime against women has two sources that nobody wants to talk about. The fact that men can't get good jobs and men have small penises. So, the small penis thing, I think if we had true statistics, we would see that the emotional abuse that men suffer from not feeling sexual adequate is the source of so much crime and abuse and sexual molestation and things like that.
Mm.
The second thing, and a lot has been written about that already, so let's go to the second thing. When men try to go to college, get out of college, got $40,000 in student loans, no job.
Mm.
The person who's going to catch it is the woman.
Makes sense.
Here's this person who, has a belief system that if I become Christian, go to church, if I go to college, and if I do all the things that they write about in the magazines and on the blogs, I'm going to be okay. And then he wakes up, he's 27, no really good job, and it's not okay. And so, nobody's ever taken him to a side and showed him how to really utilize his hunter attributes to get the job done. And in frustration, the person that's going to catch it is the woman, somebody weaker than him, somebody that depends or should be depending on him. So he'll have babies, but if he is not gainfully employed, he does not want to sit there. You need diapers. Go to the store and get diapers. And so the woman goes to the store and gets diapers and barely can scrape up enough money to pay for them. Come back home and look at him like he's not going to go for that. He's not going to marry because he's not going to get married. He's not going to commit to that scenario because in his mind he's thinking, there's no way I'm going to be able to provide for that child. Mm. He's not going to show up.
Mm. Very
He's
deep.
not going to show up.
And so
when you have a lot of men,
mm-hmm.
when you have a lot of men doing it, he's just going to take that route because he's afraid. He can't deal. The hunter is not going to deal with defeat well. He's going to be like, rather than endure the indignity and the emotional failure of living 4 or 5 years, not being able to give that baby a decent chance at life, rather than live with that, he won't be there. He'll find an excuse to stay away.
Mm. Wow.
A true hunter, a mature hunter, is going to battle it out because he's going to have some ability to hustle, and he's going to say, I'm going to take the path of least danger. I'm going to try to do a legal hustle, but I'm going to hustle. I'm going to do something. The guy who doesn't have that hunter energy online or has the reptile brain thing going on, he's not going to show up in the life of that child because he doesn't feel he can do that role. And in truth, he can't.
That hits on another great point. The violence against women, like you were saying, coming basically from the men in part, not evolving and, the women perhaps not even being involved too, so they don't value just him intrinsically for him just being a human being even. So if he has a small penis or not a no job or not a good paying enough job, he may not, society, that woman, himself, they may not see the value in it. And that points to something else, Master, I want to go over real quick, is that society is kind of, is one thing for the hunter to be introspective and to evolve himself, but then also part of this is because the whole society is sick, because by not seeing the value of human beings beyond just the function, say it's that CEO or it's that vet that comes home from fighting a war or something, or it's the star basketball player or athlete that no longer can play like he used to, and now we see no value in them. And I think just men who have that hunter energy, that doesn't, like you just said, that doesn't go over well with them.
Not at all. But the final responsibility for developing the hunter attribute in boys and young men rests with men.
Right.
It doesn't rest with women. It doesn't rest with society. It rests with us. That's the bottom line. That's the last thing. It's our job to train them and to bring that energy online so that if they get into adversity, because if you go back 10,000 years, 5,000 years, 500 years, 200 years, 1 decade ago, there is always adversity in the world.
Right.
And therefore, we have to work with the hunter. We've got to make the investment so that when adversity comes, he is able to cope. When a man feels like, I know I'm going to make it because I've got that energy, I've got the skill sets to do it, or I've got the mentality of hustling and I'm going to do it and stay out of jail, then, you know, you're all right. But if we don't, you know, you can't depend on society to do it. Society has shown us it's not going to do it, especially if you're a minority group. But even, let's say you're white and you're born with both parents, but you didn't get that energy online. So you did what your parents said to some extent. You graduated from college, and you did all the things that you thought, you know, and the corporation sends the job your father has overseas. So you're white, you're regular, you did good in football in high school, you know, you got your degree, and you're sitting out here and can't make a living in a society where you're looking at all these skyscrapers and all of this wealth, and you're like, what the F word?
Right.
You know, what the heck?
You can curse on the show, by the way.
Well, if I don't have to, I prefer not to. But I'm just saying, it's like, but I'm just saying that, you know, he's going to be like, I don't got no excuse, and he's going to be upset, and he can't do anything about the corporation that sent his job overseas. Then he'll blame it on the black guy. He'll blame it on the Mexican. And right now, how that plays out, it doesn't do him any good. It doesn't do him a daggone bit of good to hate on black people, but he's got to do something. And the reality is that he doesn't have his hunter energy online. He can't hustle. If he's Asian and all of his friends are real smart and got high-tech jobs, and he's not that smart like that, he's got other skills, maybe he would have been good as a samurai 200 years ago, but he can't really cope in today's thing. You know, that guy is going to be in a heck of a bind psychologically because he can't do what other men are doing the way that he knows he wants to and people expect him to. And rather than step into that space, he's going to get into a fantasy world. He's going to get into a violent world. He's going to find something else to do to try to get his dignity back, and you can guarantee it's not going to be good.
Oh, wow. You know, and you, again, you know, dropping gems in there, you talked about how basically he needs to feel it. If he can't feel that, you know, one of the things that you talked about in the book where you talked about that the evolved hunter has no problem at all sharing. In fact, he looks to do so, and because he knows, he feels very capable of going out and, hey, you can have that because I know I can go out here and get it again. When we have scarcity, where the hunter doesn't buy into the abundance model, and he doesn't really feel in his body, he doesn't feel in his own self that he can go out here and do that. That's you know, like you're saying, problematic. Wow. Okay.
It's like this. You know, my father was going to get it done no matter what. And if we look out here at you can separate the juvenile male from the man in terms of the hunter energy, because the juvenile male does not have that energy of getting it done no matter what. He doesn't have that energy. He's gonna flake out, and then he's gonna act out. The mature man, the real man, is going to get the job done, because you can see it, and I see it in so many men who have that energy. Their wife is driving a Mercedes, they're driving a Civic, and they don't care.
Right.
The wife has got 2 closets full of clothes. He's got maybe 6 sets that he wears all the time, and he don't care. He gets a big check, and he'll give most of it away to wife and kids, and he's happy like that.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't care. And that's how the hunter energy is. He's there to take care of his family or the community, whichever. And that's his main joy in life. And you're going to see men. A lot of women think that the guy's trying to get over or he's trying to show off or whatever, but men like to give, and that's their nature. When the energy is online, if the energy is not online, then he wants trophies. He wants to keep the money, and he wants to use the money to gain the dignity that society refuses to give him. So he's got a better car, better cell phone, better computer, better TV. It's got to be better. It's got to be better than what other guys have got, and he'll go into debt to get it. When his true nature is to give. You see the difference. The juvenile male has got the car and the widescreen TV and no house, and he's not taking care of his kids. The mature hunter, the real male, has got a little teeny TV in his office, and a practical car, unless he's really well off, and what he needs. He might have some little things that he wants to do. He might smoke. He might have he might gamble a little bit, or he might have some vices. That's small time, but basically, most of his income supports other people, and he's quite happy with that. I mean, if you look, especially in the last generation of men, the old school guys, these guys get dressed up every once in a while, but you don't see them shopping a lot. Half the time,
right.
The ones making all the money, they don't go shopping to spend it. Who's doing the shopping? The kids. And
right. Even
though he frowns up when they ask him for something outlandish, he still gives it to them. And later on, he's smiling to himself.
That he was able to do
when
it.
They don't have energy online, no. Nope, they're selfish.
And by energy online, that means just being able to feel it and thus express it in a very tangible way. We already at the 2-minute mark, and I could make the show like an hour or whatever, but I tell you what I'll be doing with this. I want to just whet people's appetite, because I don't want them to think that they listen to an hour show and that they got it. They need to know, look, go get the book. It's very plain that from this conversation that Awakening the Master Masculine is one to put in the rotation right there, because it's even with an hour conversation, we couldn't go over half of the nuggets that you have in there, man. It's phenomenal. So with this, I want to just, since we're under 2 minutes already, I want you to just tell people they want to get more information. I gave a shout out to the book, but about your website, any events you got coming up, just that real quick, and I'll close it out.
Well, the best way to contact me is through email, and that's thegrandtrine@gmail.com. Grand, spelled like Grand. Trine is Trin, as in Nancy, E, Trine, @gmail.com. They can go to my Facebook page. That's Yao Morris, Facebook.com. And that Facebook page has a lot of links on it to other sites that we do. And the main study site for the book and the other book, Awakening the Master of the Feminine, is Awaken Books on Facebook. It's a group. It's open to the public. Hit us up, and we'll approve you, and you can get into the discussion.
Excellent. Well, again, I appreciate you coming on the show today very much. I mean, it was February 2nd, 2002, so 15 years ago to this date. So I was very happy that we were able to get this show again with you, because it was 15 years to the date that I was invited to come to One Force Books and hear you talk for the first time, and it's changed my life. So it's an honor, as always, to have you on the show. I appreciate you. And again, family, You've been listening to Faux Show Holistic Health on Blog Talk Radio. I'm your host, Shophar, with Faux Show Energy Work. You're listening to Yao Morris today was the guest. Go out and get that book, Awakening the Master Masculine. And, again, thank you for tuning in. And, again, thank you, Yao, for coming through. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Thank you.
Calling the 2017 Mercedes-Benz GLA simply a compact SUV is like describing a cathedral as just 4 walls and a ceiling. The GLA is both a beautiful work of design and one of the most functional SUVs in its class, and it's available at an exceptional price. Why drive any compact SUV when you could be driving the 2017 Mercedes-Benz GLA? Visit MBUSA.com/GLA to learn more. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.